Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast, the Sutton Podcast. I'm your host Mike. Joining me today is Clare Parish from the Paul Allen Project, telling us all about what they do and why they started. It was intended to be a short piece just to drop into this episode ahead of the Stockport game, just to advertise the fact they're doing a collection. But she spoke so knowledgeably and so passionately about the subject that I just felt it had to really come out as a separate episode. I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn something and it inspires you to find out a little bit more. You can find out more on their website, which is www.paulallenproject.org. Normally at this point, I'm often telling you what you can do to support the show. But if you are inspired to support anything this week, please do inspire them, and there's ways to do so on their page. Hopefully you enjoy it, and here it is. And joining me now is Clare Parish, the founder of the Paul Allen Project, who has kindly agreed to come and tell me more about what they do. Hiya, Clare. How are you today?
Hi, Mike. I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on and helping people find out about what we're doing.
You say that like you weren't about to get a restraining order from the amount of messages I was sending, going, come on. This isn't going to be a sort of a tin rattling piece, although to be brutally honest, it is going to be a tin rattling piece, and that's how I caught you. But we're doing a collection on the Good Friday game against Stockport.
Yes.
And I do feel that people just would be interested to know a little bit more about it, because I will be honest, I saw things come up in relation to events you're doing at Sutton United, and it was only when I sort of looked and saw the website, I was like, hang on, I know this story. And it's just going to hit home for a lot of people. So I just wanted to kind of go, actually, this is what we do, this is why we do it, and this is what we want people to do in the future. But can you tell me a little bit more about the project and why you started it for anyone who doesn't know the story?
Yeah, sure. I'll just start off by saying everything's on our website. So if anybody wants to have a look, our website is www.thepaulallenproject.org, and Allen is ALAN. Paul Allen Parish was my lovely dad. Dad was a Fulham supporter and went to his first game at 7 years old. So he supported Fulham for 63 years. I always say that if you cut us open, we'd bleed white blood, because being a Fulham supporter it runs in the family. It's just as hereditary as you know, our short little parish legs. And so it was just a normal day, normal match day, like thousands of sports fans all around the world would know, whether they support, you know, a baseball team, a football team, whatever it is, you know. So it was just a normal match day, January 29th, 2022. We went into the match as normal. Dad was running a tiny tinsy bit late, which was the only not normal thing, because he was always there early. But the traffic going over Putney Bridge and Wandsworth Bridge over to Fulham that day was just, for some reason, just horrendous. Anyway, Dad was a little bit late, and he didn't like being late for football. So he came in, he was, the traffic was awful. And, you know, I said, oh, never mind, you're here now, you know, that sort of thing. He took his seat, which is 2 seats away from me. My daughter and my cousin's daughter sat between Dad and myself. And Alexander Mitrovic scored his 28th goal of the season in about the 3rd minute, I think it was. So we just finished, dancing along and singing and shouting after he scored against Blackpool. And as he sat down, he just tapped my cousin Vicky on the shoulder, who sits in front of him, and he said, "I don't feel very well." And that was it. That's a cardiac arrest. 1 minute you're dancing and jumping up and down to to Mitro's on fire, and the next your heart has literally just stopped. And that is the hard and cruel facts of a cardiac arrest. And it was terrifying. It was the scariest thing that I've ever been through in my life. And one of the reasons it was so scary was because I didn't know what to do or how to help my dad. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't even go there. I didn't think cardiac arrest. We initially thought Dad had fainted. We thought he'd just passed out. He was a bit hot and bothered because he'd been rushing to the game, and he was always rushing about, my dad. He was the fittest, healthiest man, and I cannot stress that enough. My nan, bless her heart, she's 89. She's still with us, and she always said, even before Dad passed, she always said, he never even had a cold in his life. All his siblings had measles and all of that when they were kids. Dad never caught anything. He never even had a cold in his life. He used to have the germs and spread them to everyone else, but he never used to get ill himself. He really was the fittest, healthiest man. And if you look on my website and you see pictures of him, he didn't look like a 69-year-old man. He was turning 70 the month after. It was going to be his 70th birthday on the 28th of February, and we were planning actually what to do. We were going to get a corporate box for one of the games in February, and we were just planning that with Fulham. And yeah, so I always say Dad never wanted to get old. He obviously looked at 70 years old, and he wanted to stay a big kid forever. That's what I think, because he was so much fun. He was such a big kid. He was just the loveliest man, a proper dad. That's what I always say about my dad. He was a proper dad. He looked after everyone. He still, I always say, he still looked at me like it's like 18 or something, he'd tell me that I needed to wear a coat because it was cold today. I was like, Dad, I've got a 14-year-old daughter and I had to look after myself and my child, but that, it's because he cared, and he was the best dad in the world, and I miss him so much. And the reason why I've set this project up is because I don't want people to go through what we've been through. I don't want people to witness someone, not necessarily they love, it could be a stranger on the street, but I don't want anybody to witness someone having a cardiac arrest and not knowing what to do. Because I always say that a cardiac arrest is a really scary thing. It's always going to be a terrifying thing, but not knowing what to do or how to help someone makes that a million times scarier. And after Dad passed, I mean, we had a lot of help. We were obviously at the game, so there was the on-pitch medics, there was the off-pitch medics, there were 2 wonderful off-duty police officers and an intensive care doctor in the stands that came to Dad's rescue. So they actually did get his heart beating faintly in the ground, and just bless him, just outside the ground, literally outside the turnstile that he'd walked in 45 minutes earlier, he had a second cardiac arrest, and that was fatal. But I take comfort in the fact that I was with Dad the whole time, so he was never alone. Telling my mum, the man that she'd loved for 50 years, that her husband had died was the worst thing in the world, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It's just, I go back to it and you can hear the quiver in my voice because it's upsetting, and it's that's the reason why I set up Dad's project, because I don't want anyone to feel the way I do. I don't want a family to go through what we went through, because it's horrible. And if we can raise awareness of what a cardiac arrest is, if we can put more public access defibrillators in our community, so God forbid, if someone does have a cardiac arrest, there is a defibrillator, within 100 meters, not 10 minutes down the road when it's too late. That's what we want to do. So that's why I've set up the Paul Allen Project. And a lot of what I've done over the last year is educate myself about what a cardiac arrest is. And I don't mind saying I didn't know what a cardiac arrest was. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed to say I knew what a defibrillator was, but I didn't really know when you'd use one. I've just heard of them. I've just seen them. I've never sort of, you'd walk past one and not blink an eye. Now we actually walked to Fulham Football Club from Sutton United on the 11th of February, and I actually counted 2 on a nearly 9-mile walk through some of the busiest towns in this part of London. I counted 2, one in Wimbledon, one in Putney. That's not good enough. That's absolutely not good enough. These life-saving pieces of kit need to be everywhere. They need to be every 100 to 200 meters. And the reason I say this is because I've educated myself, and I know that for every minute somebody's in cardiac arrest, they lose 10% chance of survival. So if you think that, God forbid, and I use the Collingwood wreck besides Sutton United as a discussion point here, because it's where everybody will be familiar. God forbid, if somebody had a cardiac arrest, perhaps at the start of the park near the Collingwood Road end, they're a good 5 minutes away from a defibrillator if they're quick, if they're a flipping fast runner. But not everyone is. Not everyone. And, some people have mobility issues. What then, we need them everywhere because they save lives. And I was speaking to somebody recently about this, and I said, sometimes I feel like people don't get it. They don't understand. And she said to me, Claire, people won't understand until it's their loved one that needs one of these devices. That's the only time, unfortunately, some people will understand. And what I always say is we all have a heart. We all have a risk. It's one thing we all have in common. We all have this organ inside us that we need. We can't live without it. And people think, like I did, it's not going to happen to me or my family. I absolutely thought that, Mike. I never thought I'd be, this time, this in 2023, talking about cardiac arrest and why we need defibrillators and why people need to learn basic life-saving skills. I never thought I'd be in this position talking about this, but I am, because it happened to me and my family, and there's nothing extraordinary about us. We're just a normal family, My dad, he wasn't someone who drank alcohol. He didn't smoke. He was fit and healthy. He had a good BMI. He didn't eat junk food. He was the healthiest man you could meet. And what I always say, Mike, is if it can happen to my dad, it can happen to anyone. And it doesn't just happen to males. It doesn't just happen to people over 50. I know a lady whose 18-year-old perfectly healthy son died of a cardiac arrest. He wasn't drinking, he wasn't smoking, he wasn't doing drugs. He was just watching fireworks on New Year's Eve with his friends. His blood was completely clear from drugs, alcohol, everything. And his heart just had an unexpected electrical fault. And that was it. And I think for me, it's understanding what a cardiac arrest is. And a lot of people use the words heart attack and cardiac arrest interchangeably. And it's really important that people know, if they don't learn anything else, know that a cardiac arrest is very different to a heart attack. Someone who's having a heart attack will be conscious. Someone who's having a cardiac arrest will be unconscious. You will not be able to speak to them. And that's really important to recognize that. If you switch off now and don't listen to anything else I say, if you don't go onto our website, know the signs. If someone falls unexpectedly unconscious, then they are most likely in cardiac arrest. You need to phone 999, you need to start CPR, and you need to go and get a defibrillator. Hopefully someone's with you and they can run and get a defibrillator. When you phone 999, they will tell you your location, the location of your nearest defibrillator. But again, it might not be very close. And this is why we're fundraising for public access defibrillators to be put up in the local community first in Sutton, and then grow that to outside. Because basically what we want, I've been talking to Sutton Council, and what I've said to them is I want the London Borough of Sutton to be the showcase for every community in the country to say, look what they're doing here, look what can be achieved, let's do that, let's make our community heart safe like Sutton is. And now I'm going to stop for breath.
I was just going from a list of questions, Claire, and I'm like, hang on.
Sorry.
No, you're absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. So on the practical side, obviously, you mentioned you're a mum. Mum's got superpowers and they know everything.
Yeah.
Which is what happens in my family. If something's happened, ask mum. So at that moment, obviously, you're like, whoa, hang on, I don't know what's going on. From there to setting up this charity, what was the sort of process, and why did you decide to say, I'm not just going to have a voice saying this should happen, I'm actually going to get and do something about this? And how's it evolved since your first sort of ideas about it?
Mike, thanks. That's a really great question. And I'll be really honest with you. After Dad passed, I looked at basic life saving and first aid courses that I might want to attend. As a single parent and money being tight, as it is for a lot of people right now, I was actually quite appalled with the cost of basic life saving skills and first aid training. They were way out of my budget. And it made me cross. I'll be honest with you. It made me cross because I felt like, because I didn't have a disposable income, I can't afford to learn how to save someone's life. And for me, that's just ludicrous that if you don't have a spare £150 in your bank account, that you cannot learn how to save someone's life. To me, it should be something that is given as a gift. Everybody should learn these skills. Everybody should learn. And that's what drove me forward. That's what made me think, hang on a minute, we can do something here. I can do something here. So I set up the Paul Allen Project for that reason, because I want everybody to know how to spot the signs of a cardiac arrest and know what to do if they do witness someone in cardiac arrest. I want to take the fear out of it and empower people with the confidence. I know how to do CPR. Yes, it's scary. It's always going to be scary. Of course, it's always going to be scary. And I've spoken to cardiac surgeons. I've spoke to doctors. I've spoke to so many medical professionals about this. And they say, you know what, Claire, even in a hospital setting, a cardiac arrest is a frantic and crazy and chaotic and scary thing. It's always going to be scary. But if you know what to do, there is some fear taken away from that. But not knowing what to do and not being able to help, believe me, trust me, as the person that was there not knowing how to help my dad, that is way scarier. And now forever I have to live with the fact that I didn't know how to help my dad, and that breaks my heart. So
you mentioned the training,
Yes.
And I've seen on the website that we are offering basic training for £1 a person.
Yes.
Now, obviously, that's not going to be, I want to do it next week Tuesday. That's when I'm free. We've got to have a certain number of people. But what's involved in that basic training? Have you put on sessions already, or is it still in the pipeline? And what are they going to be covering, really?
Yeah, so we're all certified now to provide basic life-saving skills training to the public. At first, we're going to train groups of 6. We've taken the decision to train groups of 6 because what we want to do is train people really well. So it's not about profit. It's £1 per person. If someone says, you know what, I don't have £1, come and learn for free. You know, I would rather someone learn and know what to do than not know what to do. I don't want the pound being someone's barrier to not learning. You come for free and you do it with us. We're doing it in groups of 6 because we really want to show people properly how to learn chest compressions, how to perform those properly, how to deal with this situation in as calm a way as you possibly can, how to familiarize yourself with a defibrillator. Defibrillators are scary. They give like a shock, you know, they're scary. And I completely acknowledge that, but it's about taking some of the fear away and saying, you know what, I left school, Mike, at 16 with 5 GCSEs. I'm not a brain box. I'm not someone who's going to be a brain surgeon, but I can perform CPR. I can use a defibrillator. I can save someone's life. And that's what I want to show people. Rewind, 15 months, didn't have a clue. Absolutely no clue whatsoever. Now, 15 months forward, look at Claire. She's not just knowing how to perform CPR. She's teaching people how to perform CPR. So our training courses, they go through, like I say, we're all fully certified with the Resuscitation Council UK. So you can go and look on their website and check them out as well if you want to suss us out a bit more. So our course will go through initially, obviously, the signs of cardiac arrest, how to know somebody's in cardiac arrest, what to do. And that's as simple as, first of all, calling 999, obviously assessing the situation and making sure you are safe as the lifesaver. Because obviously in any emergency, you have to make sure you are safe first. Then we go through ensuring that we know if someone's in cardiac arrest. So we go through that, how to know that someone's unconscious. Then we go through the step of chest compressions. Now, what I've said, because people have said to me, well, how long does this course take? And I've said, as long as you need it to. So, Mike, if you struggled with the compressions to breaths and you were like, you know what, Claire, I'm just not getting this. It could take you 3 hours. That's fine. I will stay with you for 3 hours until you've nailed it. Okay. And that's what I'm saying to people. It's not an hour and a half right out the door. There you go. It is, you're going to stay here with us and learn this until you're confident, until your arms hurt from doing chest compressions, whatever it is, you know. And it's, you know, we're really nice people. We're really friendly. We're non-judgmental. I've got a couple of doctors in our training team, which I'm really, really fortunate about. We've got 3 medical professionals and we've got 3 non-medical professionals, myself being one. We're all really lovely. We're all really friendly. And we're here just to take our time with everybody and show them what to do. You can sign up on our page. Let me just get it up because I forget. It's so it's the paulallenproject.org, and then on our home bar, if you just go to the training page, and the training sessions will be up. As I currently speak, they're not up, but they will be by the time you're listening to me talk. You'll just sign up. They'll be at Sutton United to start with, and hopefully venture out over through the community across the course of this year. But primarily, the lovely people at Sutton United have lent us their one of their spaces for free to offer this training, which is just wonderful. And I absolutely can't thank Sutton United enough for their support that they've given our project so far. They've been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's to be fair, how I kind of came across you with the various things. I think it was a quiz night you did a little while ago, was the first one.
Yes.
And then I looked at your events page, and there's a lot of Sutton stuff on there at the moment.
There is.
But yeah, very good. So we mentioned defibrillator. I knew I wasn't going to be able to say it. Defibrillators installed in parks and grassroots and sort of everywhere, really.
Yeah.
So most of us would have only ever seen defibs on TV, on Casualty or whatever, shouting Clear, and putting a charge through. So you're quite right; they are very scary machines.
Yes.
So, but what are the challenges getting them out there? I mean, there's things I would sort of obviously. I'm very pessimistic. I'll be like, well, hang on, if there's going to be one of them on the high street outside McDonald's, is it going to get vandalised?
Absolutely.
So how do we decide where they're going to go and where they're needed and so on?
Yeah, well, Mike, you've kind of hit the nail on the head with that, because this is one of the things Sutton Council have said to me, and quite rightly, it is a concern. Of course it is. I mean, they're fully insured, so whichever ones, wherever they go, they will be fully insured. And I'll be honest with you, Mike, we don't live in a society where we can trust that people won't vandalize them or try to steal them. We know that, and I'd be so daft and naive if I thought otherwise. But what I say to that is it's far more dangerous to not have a defibrillator near you than it is to have one and risk it being vandalized. And I suppose my naivety, maybe, if you like, people watching this will be like, that girl needs a head checked, is I think it comes down to education. And what I think is if we can go into schools, which there's no reason why we can't, and go into scout groups and actually, just the skateboard park at the back of Sutton United, and go, hey guys, look, there's one here. Don't be absolute morons about it. Come and learn what it is about. Here's my mannequin. We're going to do a few compressions now, and you're going to learn what to do. Because these guys who may or may not vandalize defibs, they don't generally know what they're for, I think. And I think once they know what they're for, they're more likely to be like, no, we're not going to be that moronic. That's what I hope. Now, people listening are probably like, that lady is mad. She's got rocks in her head. But I'll just use the example of the mural that's on the skate park in Sutton, at the back of Sutton United, of those beautiful boys that were sadly killed in the fire. No one has touched that. That has not had a drop of graffiti on it. So as much as people want to say that, whatever they want to say about Sutton and the young people of Sutton, that hasn't been touched. And I think there is a level of respect. People know where not to go. We're not going to go there. And I'm hoping that will be the same with the defibrillators, that people are going to be like, actually, we know what these are for now. Yeah, this could save my mum's life, my dad's life, my uncle's life. We're not going to, be idiots here. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, I mean, you've got a 14-year-old, I've got an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that we are undoubtedly cringe, they are brilliant. Whenever you sort of see them or get involved in a conversation with the kids, it's like, oh my God, can the world just hurry up and let this lot be in charge, because we've screwed everything up. This lot, they know what they're doing. So I think getting into schools would be amazing, because I left school with not an awful lot of life experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why couldn't they just take an hour a week to teach us stuff that we need to know?
Totally.
So things like that would be really, really useful. Little the 5-year-old, they're learning sign language at school as perfectly normal. So it's like, well, why can't they learn first aid as well?
Yeah.
I know this is beyond first aid, but he's only 5. So have we? I know it's only a newish foundation and whatnot, but have we seen any impacts from the project's work so far, or is it too early?
Right, so we only became incorporated in November. So at the moment, what we've been doing is fundraising. However, I have a meeting with the council next week whereby we are discussing the first public access defibrillators position. So hopefully by the time this goes out, we will have it up. And I really, really fought hard with my heart and my head as to where the first one should go. Obviously, it's in Dad's name. It's in my lovely dad's name. And I felt that maybe it should go somewhere that's more poignant to Dad's. And then I thought, you know what? And this is what I always say, we couldn't help Dad, but we can help others. And I just live the other side of Gander Green Lane. Myself and my daughter walk through Collingwood Park every day to get to where we need to be. And I thought, you know what? This is the place. This is where we're crying out for a defibrillator. So Sutton Council have said you can have your defibrillator in Collingwood Park, which I'm absolutely delighted about. And I'm just hoping that by the time this goes out, Mike, that there's going to be a nice yellow, shiny, bright, glowing box in Collingwood Park to hopefully be able to save a life if, God forbid, someone ever has a cardiac arrest within the surrounding area of Collingwood Park. So I am excited about it. And like I say, I hope that no one ever has to use it, but I leave it there.
Yeah, I was just thinking this is one of those things that we want to spend a lot of money on to have it completely wasted, for want of a better expression, something that no one ever needs, but it's there. So you've covered this already a little bit, but it is very, very important. So the signs of a cardiac arrest that people should be aware of. What kind of things should we be looking for when someone's having a cardiac arrest? Literally
just somebody going suddenly unconscious. So where we thought that Dad had fainted, usually if someone's fainted, they are able to be roused within, a few seconds. It's a very, very quick thing. So it's, if somebody falls suddenly unconscious, you shake them. You shake them by the shoulders or perhaps pinch their ear and you shout. Are you okay? Or whatever it is. If they're a Fulham fan, shout Chelsea at them, whatever it is. Don't do that. But basically, you're trying to see if this person is conscious. If they're not conscious, if they're not responding to you when you shake their shoulders, when you're shouting at them in their ear, then you know they're unconscious. You immediately dial 999. You immediately tell the 999 operator that somebody has fallen suddenly unconscious. You think they're in cardiac arrest. Obviously, they will send an ambulance. They will locate the nearest defibrillator for you. If you are on your own, you will just be spoken through how to do compressions if you don't know. And the 999 operator actually counts you in. So they will give you the count. I know there's a lot of things about singing Staying Alive and all this, but the 999 operator will count you to do your compressions as they want you to do them. Currently, it's 30 compressions to 2 breaths. So they will tell you that. They will talk all of this through with you over the phone. If you're with someone, then that person runs and gets the defibrillator. But the most important thing is to stay with the person and perform the chest compressions while somebody gets the defibrillator. If there is nobody, then it's just compressions until the ambulance comes. But as we know, there are some horrendous ambulance waiting times, which is why the basic life-saving skills training is so much more important now, when it's, sometimes you're hearing about hour waiting times plus for an ambulance. So, it's really important that we empower ourselves with this knowledge. Absolutely. So a couple of things. So you're given your magic wand and you can complete the entire aims of the Paul Allen project and say, right, that's it, we're done, we're closing it down. What would that look like if you could just complete everything? Well, I have to say, first of all, and I hate saying it because I was always brought up not to talk about money. It was quite an unfavourable thing in my house. We can't do this without funds. We can't do this without money. So that's the first thing. So it would be that we have had lots and lots of money come in. and we have spent all the money on public access defibrillators. And these public access defibrillators are 100 to 200 meters apart within our community and every community in the UK. The other thing is that every single person on the street, whether they're 5 or 95 years old, they know how to recognize the signs of cardiac arrest, and they know how to perform CPR and use a defibrillator. That is what we wish. And you know, you're right in asking me that, because a charity, any charitable organization's aims are actually to not exist because they've done the job. So that's an absolutely super question. That is it. We will not exist because everybody knows how to save a life, and everybody knows that their nearest defib is literally 2 minutes away, if that.
Perfect. And I think we've already hinted at this earlier on, but we'll ask it. In the absence of the magic wand, which I can't give you, what is the one thing you would like people to do to help? What is the one thing that someone sitting listening to this can go, right, I'm going to do this?
Can I choose 2 things because I'm greedy?
Right. Do you know what? Can I just say the follow-up question to this was, let's be greedy. What's another thing?
Oh, amazing. Okay. That's
I actually used the same wording as well.
It's because I'm so impatient. I always jump to the next thing.
That's fine.
That's me to a T. Right. Honestly, you're like a mind reader, Mike. I love it. So the absolutely first thing is learn. Come to us, learn, come to one of our basic life-saving skills sessions. And I've had people before that have said to me, oh, I went on a first aid course in 1999. Well, so did I, but that didn't help me. You know, I went on a first aid course 10 years ago. That doesn't help. You need to refresh yourself. Refresh yourself with us for £1. If you don't have the £1, come to us anyway. We'll train you for free. Come and learn from us. We are wonderful. That's the first thing. The second thing is, unfortunately, again, I hate to say it, but it's money, because these defibrillators cost around £1,500. The defib itself is $750, and the external cabinet that they're housed in is about the same again. Now, the reason you need an external cabinet is because in cold temperatures, the cabinets need to be protected. The defibs need to be protected. The heated cabinets protect them, because you've got the gel pads on the defib and you've got obviously the battery in the defib. If they get too cold, they will not work. There's no point in having defibrillators in the community if they do not work. So we need money. And that's the 2 things. Now, what I've done is we're actually rather bonkersly, that's a new word for you. We are walking from Fulham to Blackpool at the end of May, beginning of June. And we've got a sponsorship page up at the moment. I've chosen to do it on my website rather than GoFundMe, because GoFundMe and those such websites only let people donate £5 as a minimum. But £5 is an awful lot of money. So if you go on my website and go to the Blackpool, the Fulham to Blackpool walk, you can donate a penny if you want. You can donate 10p. And I've done it that way on purpose, because I don't want people to think, oh, I can't donate because I can't afford £5. If all you can donate is 2p or 1p or 10p, please donate it. Because if I always say, if everybody who was at Fulham the day that Dad passed, we had, I don't know, 20,000 fans there. If every one of those people gave us £1, we would be able to fund so many defibrillators. And I'll say it now, you know, if everyone listening here, was it 5 million listeners you get?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
If all your 5 million listeners gave us even 10p, I didn't have maths GCSE when I left school. I don't know how much that is. But there you go. It's, you know, we would be able to fund so much. so much. And that's why we've done it that way. So just donate what you can. We've also got a bucket collection on the Good Friday game, and they're bright pink buckets. You cannot miss them. I'm also very loud, so you're not going to miss we're going to be there. We're going to be shaking our buckets, making lots of noise, telling everybody all about our project, all about our training, and how we want everyone through the doors to be trained. And if all you can give is a penny, then please give your penny.
Will you have a little tapping machine as well? Because the problem is,
yes,
with lots of these things now, so many people, we're like the Queen. Well, not the Queen anymore, but we don't carry cash.
Yeah.
And every time someone puts a bucket in front of me, I'm like, I've literally got nothing in my pocket.
I'm the same.
So, have one of the little tappy things, and then
we definitely will. We definitely will.
And there was another one I saw on the fundraising page, which again might interest people. I don't know. You've said, I'm going to read the wording because otherwise I'll mess it up. So you said about the potentially doing things for people, and if people wanted to do a particular event. So I think you said like half marathon, skydives, anything like that. You'll be able to pay the registration fee in return for a minimum amount of fundraising of 300.
Yes,
actually, in fairness, is actually quite low compared to some of the things I've seen. Because so if anyone's kind of thinking, well, actually, I want to do a little bit more and rattle it in on your behalf, then have a little look at that. And that's again on the website, which is the paulallenproject.org, and then there's the support us bit as well. So make sure you have a little look there. As we've mentioned a couple of times, the tins are going to come round on the Good Friday match. But is there any other ways people can get involved to help? I mean, money is a big one, and I know from the way you're saying it, you're very, very conscious of people's disposable income.
Absolutely.
But yes, the fact is, it will help people. And the more people that know, because one of my fears would be, if this happens, I would just freeze and I wouldn't know what to do. But I'm thinking if there's 4 or 5 people who know what to do between you, someone's going to go, well, hang on, you've got to do this, and then it's going to kick everyone into gear. So is there any other ways people can help and support? Don't worry about sounding mercenary. I'm extremely mercenary. So if it is just money, then it is just money. But is there anything else people can do to help as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of things. There really is. It's absolutely. Money is a big one. Absolutely. I'm not going to shy away from it too much. We can't afford to put defibrillators where they're needed unless we have the money to buy them and to fit them. The other thing is, I would love to hear from an electrician. If there's an electrician out there who can install the defibrillators for us, hopefully for free, if not for a very favourable price, that would be amazing, because we need more electric installation gurus, let's call them. The other thing is, you know what? And I say this all the time, it takes 1 second to hit the retweet, hit the repost, hit the reshare button on social media. It takes a couple of minutes to say to your mates down the pub or down your local snooker club or wherever that you are, have you heard about this project? Let's have a look at this. Just talk about it, retweet what we're doing. I never understand. You've got me on my soapbox now. I'm like, I never understand how people don't retweet stuff. You know, I think this could save your life. This could save someone else's life. Why is this getting 6 likes and some, I don't know, crazy person on YouTube talking absolute nonsense is getting 1 million likes because he said he ate a banana for breakfast? You know, I don't get it. I will never understand it. I'm probably showing my age now, Mike.
No, you know, it is some weird things with algorithms and the way they change it and they put things up. But I'm not saying this for me, and I wouldn't do that to everyone. But if you do follow the Twitter page of Clare, and I'm just gonna get it up again. That's a nice easy one to remember. It's at Paul Allen Project. On there and on any one, there's a little bell sign so you can get notifications. So if you tick that, when someone tweets, you get a little notification about it. So then you can just chuck it in there and say, right, I'm going to retweet this. I don't think it lets you auto retweet things, but you can always just get a notification about it. So tell everyone to put the notifications on. That's what we've got to do. That's what the kids do.
Yeah.
Get notifications on. I'm told. I don't know what the kids do. But thank you so much for your time. I have taken up way more than I said I would, and I'm going to half apologise, but it was really, really good to talk to you. Feel I know so much more now, and hopefully we'll get some good collections going. There's lots to support. As I said, there's a lot of Sutton-centric stuff there as well, so there's no real excuses. And just check out the website, www.paulallenproject.org, or as I say on Twitter @PaulAllenProject. I will give you the last word, Claire. Stay on the soapbox, say whatever you want, you're free. The floor is yours.
Well, I need to say thank you, Mike, of course, first to you. I really appreciate your time. And again, Sutton United and everyone there who's been so supportive so far. Come and join us. You know, if you think, I want to help, I want to get involved, we've got a contact page on our website. WhatsApp me, email me, phone me. Whatever you think that you might want to get involved with, even if you think, you know what, I want to do a bake sale at my work for the Paul Allen Project, come and talk to me about it. I'm a very friendly person and I like talking to people. So message me, chat to us. Maybe you want to become a trainer and train people with us. That's fine. Come and talk to me. Let's see what you can do, what you can do with us, and I'd be glad to speak to anybody and everybody who just wants to help and feels that this is as important as I think it is. So yes, just come and have a chat with me.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Mike.
United! 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 United!